I peel a bit of wallpaper off above the mantel with my thumb. Without all the furniture, the place looks much older than it actually is. I managed to get in by unlocking the front door with one of my credit cards. The deadbolt never worked, and I guess my parents didn't fix it after I left town.
That's kind of bad.
Everything kind of smells faintly familiar. Just dustier, and without my mom's burning cinnamon incense that seemed to be a constant feature of my childhood. Your favorite scent?
I like the smell of cinnamon.
You like the smell of cinnamon?
The smell's okay. I don't like the taste of it very much.
Because cinnamon's like Stephanie repellent.
I don't like the taste of cinnamon.
Cinnamon's good.
I would just... Everything that has cinnamon in it, I think would be better without it in it.
Everything with cinnamon's good. Everything with ginger's good.
I like ginger.
Everything with garlic is great.
Yes, that is 100% true.
I rest my forearms against the windowsill and let my eyes lull a bit.
Ah! Oh my god!
Actual jump scare this time.
This is inappropriate.
That was upsetting.
That was he's like really close, so he's kind of blurred a little.
Yeah. No, he's higher. He's much larger than he's ever been on screen. Besides CGs.
They're trying to make us feel immersed.
Otter. Leo smacks his paws on either side of the window, looking up at me from the outside with a pleased expression on his muzzle. Jesus, man. I blink. Why are you shirtless?
Why aren't you?
Leo pulls back some, crossing his arms over his chest. He rolls his shoulders, a sort of indirect shrug. It's getting hot, especially with all that moving around and grilling. I give him a dubious look. Yeah, you're a hot dog, all right.
Want to reenact our last hot dog adventure?
The Red Wolf responds with a delighted smile. I harumph, trying to change my gears a bit.
Haroof.
I'm gonna eat your hot dog like TJ does.
Ah!
Knife and fork.
Knife and fork. The ketchup will be your blood.
You're not, like, self-conscious or anything? Are you about to body shame Leo? Like, fan favorite body type Leo? I mean, it isn't like the height of football season for you anymore.
Oh, damn.
Wow, Chase. I flick my gaze towards his stomach. Leo's demeanor cools, though he keeps that smile as if he's trying not to let that one set in too much. He points up toward my chin. Do you dye that? What, my goatee?
He's throwing it back at Chase.
Is that what you call it? Yeah. He lets out a little humored grunt. What? Seems like a lot of work for a little scruff of hair, yeah? I frown, pushing back away from the window. Leo seems to stiffen some. Hey, I'm just kidding. You look, you look very good. Seeing you dancing and all that takes me back. But you are different. It's so shitty of Chase to act offended now when he's literally like, you do not make unsolicited comments on someone's body. They're just gonna give them, like, body image issues. Like, that's just a shitty thing to do to someone. It's like, by comparison, being like, oh, so the funny chin dye, huh? Oh, now I'm mad. Cool, Chase. Thanks.
Well, and then one of those
You're so
things
on the right here.
is, like, a choice. Like Chase is almost as worse because he chooses to have the dumb little dye. Leo doesn't like choose his body type. Like, I mean,
yeah. And like Chase, or we know from his internal monologue that he went from seeing Leo as being like the hot footballer to like the dad at the grill, and apparently he's not the type that thinks that's good.
I was gonna say that's like fine,
which is a type
for a lot of people.
He's not into it, but he's like clearly he's just like actively judging Leo's appearance now, and it's like cool. So you're just the worst in every room. There's no right answers for you. Every route's poisoned.
And you have that goatee, dumbass.
He pushes his tongue against the roof of his mouth, Leo's eyes darting from side to side as he tries to find the right words. I haven't seen him like this since we were younger. Especially, I wonder if his English has been getting worse without us around. His family really only speaks the native tongue at home, and I imagine it's the same at the shop he works at. Thanks. I'm honestly not sure how to respond to that. What am I doing that's so different? I can't explain it. You're just like you used to be, just less? Brutal.
That is kind of... Man, if someone said that to me, I would like probably really freak out. I'd be like, what does that mean?
What are you
What's
supposed
wrong with me?
Yeah, what are you supposed to do with that? I think this is supposed to be people collectively picking up on like Sam's presence and influencing Chase's like personality and experience, because like we had that Chase had that dissociation conversation with Flynn a while back, and how he essentially feels like he hasn't been himself since what happened with Sydney, and instead of going away, it's more that he just got used to that. Like it's almost like the actual him is like suppressed on some level, because there's just this, because what he does not know is that there's like seemingly this entire separate consciousness just sharing him, essentially.
Yeah.
I feel a sinking sensation within my chest. Leo suddenly snaps his fingers. Mellowed out, that's it.
Okay, that's a little bit different.
The first one was phrased perfectly to hook directly into what Chase was freaking out about.
Yeah.
I think that he said basically that about himself earlier.
Well, and then there's also that little tie-in with like, I don't know, like Flynn says that you're boring, and like that you have no personality.
Yeah.
And so like so Leo, someone who like knows you very well and intimately, saying that you are less like that sounds really scary. And then but then he's like oh no, I meant like mellowed out, which if said to somebody like would not be nearly as scary of a thing to hear. It's like, oh, like you like, you know, oh yeah, like, oh yeah, you're still Stephanie, you just like you mellowed out a little bit. I'd be like, okay. But it's like, oh, you're less you. I'm like, oh, I'm becoming empty inside, like I'm lacking agency or volition.
I'm reducing in opacity as a person.
Yeah.
So you could just ignore me.
That's terrifying.
Listen, Leo, you said you wanted to talk, right? Because if your big point is that I'm not a complete spaz anymore, I'm already aware. Leo furrows his white, ridged brow. You were never a spaz. I was getting to that.
Chase? Oh, he's trying to talk to us at the same time. We're having both of our talks at once.
The exact worry. I spin around to see the familiar salamander standing anxiously behind me. Oh, hi. Hola, scooter guy. Leo leans past me and waves.
Hey. Got time to talk, Chase? Oh, fuck.
This is a choice.
They're not letting you do both?
Hello, my honey. Hello, my darling. Hello, my
You set my heart on fire.
I mean, the correct answer is to talk to Leo, right? Like...
Well, to be fair, like, okay, in real life, you could just say, yeah,
Hang on a minute.
Just give me a minute.
Yeah.
I'll, like, and, like, I'm already actively talking to a person, so it is kind of rude to be like, can I talk to you right now while you're talking to that person? Can I talk to you right now?
Do not reward this behavior.
In real life. But here we don't have the option to say, yeah, just give me 5 minutes, fucker. Like, it's like one or the other.
Actually, I want to talk to Leo for a bit.
Okay. Understood. I suppose I'll head off then.
You don't need to... This is a you problem, Daxton.
This is a you problem, Daxton. If I don't see you again, it was good meeting you, Chase.
I feel a swell of guilt build in my chest. Oh, leaving so soon?
Yeah, I gotta take Carl home. I've been watching him out back and he's just been sitting by himself, not talking to anybody.
It's a good friend group.
I can relate.
I frown, but nod in understanding. I hear you. It was good meeting you too, Lieutenant Daxton. I manage a smile, and he does as well, fortunately.
I'm not gonna say I'm beaming out. I'm just gonna walk away now.
Of course. See ya.
Whew.
That salamander was never seen alive again. The salamander waves at the both of us, backstepping his way to the front door, which is faster in Castlevania than walking forward.
Daxton secretly, he knows that, and
Yeah,
he's
the speedrun
mastered
strats.
the art of walking backwards faster than he walks
Yep.
forwards.
Let me come around then, yeah? Feels wrong to be looking up at you.
Yeah, I don't like to look down at you.
Like the natural order of the universe is messed up. If you say so, be my guest. Great.
As he runs.
Leo is not escaping the jump scare allegations this route. Like, that is the footsteps sound we always associate with, like, somebody running up to, like, punch us in the face or kick or, like, kidnap us or hit us with a car or, like...
Honestly, like my like...
Your fight or flight activated?
Yeah, it just went ding, like a little bit because like he's like, okay, I'm gonna come around. So and I'm just like imagining like a video game where like you see the scary thing and then like it darts off to the side, presumably going around the corner to come at you. Like
that sound just recalls the moments where both Clint and then Duke and then Brian all come after you one by one in Leo's route. I think they all might make that noise. Clint with the crowbar, and then Duke with the car when he ambushes you and take the keys and everything for the bathroom break, and then Brian takes you off and takes you to the mine.
Yeah, so bad noise.
It's a bad sound effect. Leo quickly pushes himself away from the window, darting off around the house. Here we go.
Oh no! Scary.
Leo steps into what was my old living room, his eyes on his phone. I raise an eyebrow towards him. Something up? Pops wants to be in the shop in Peyton in an hour from now, even though it's my day off. What the hell? I guess labor laws don't apply when it's family? Yeah, fuck it. You know me. I'd choose spending time with you if it meant getting chewed out by my parents any day.
He says by the parentals.
By the parentals.
I hate that. By the lentils.
He shoves his phone into his pocket, smiling down at me all the while. He does enjoy that height difference, doesn't he? Something in the back of my mind seems to whisper, not as tall as Flynn.
Not as tall
Though
as
I quickly
Flynn.
shoved that thought aside. Can Flynn fill a hot dog bun? Leo peers around, touching the faded green wood paneling that surrounds the room. I remember the first time I was in here, back during Halloween of 2000. Your mom invited me over. I didn't speak a bit of English, and didn't have no damn costume, but your parents thought we were friends, so I got ushered in here. Your mom cut up one of your old bed sheets and made me this ghost-looking outfit. Ah, jeez. I remember that. I threw a little tantrum because apparently I like those sheets.
I mean, to be fair, your mom just cut up a perfectly good set of sheets.
Yeah, to make a child feel included, because she's a good mom.
Just use the plain white ones that like no one cares about. Don't use the one that with the pattern on it that kid likes. Probably like Pokemon on them or something.
The ultimate fear. That was the Bulbasaur sheets.
They probably don't have Pokemon in this world because that wouldn't make a lot of sense.
Why not?
I guess it could. Anthropomorphic Pokemon trainers.
Yeah.
Throwing out
I
anthropomorphic.
was gonna say, I've seen a lot of furry art of Pokemon, and I don't even just mean the Pokemon themselves, I just mean furries with Pokemon.
I guess so. It just gets confusing when you have like Lopunny as like your Pokemon.
They might not be the same Pokemon.
May it not be the same Pokemon?
Yeah, they might. I mean, they might have Pokemon, but not have Lopunny specifically or something. But also, there are just human Pokemon already. Pokemon are weird.
They are weird. It gets weird when you get to like Machamp and you're like,
Yeah.
why is he hot? He's a
Ew,
Pokemon.
no, Machoke is hot. Machamp is creepy.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, sorry. I agree with that part.
But the like you got like Mr. Mime and Jinx and other stuff where I'm like, what's happening? I'm scared.
I like how Mr. Mom was always hanging out with everyone's mom. I was like, I see what's going on here. Ash's dad's out of town. Like Mr. Mime's hanging around.
Ruh-roh. Well, he's good at keeping things on the down low.
Yeah, he's very quiet.
Yeah.
Very discreet.
Leo crosses his arms, grinning as he stares at a spot in the corner of the room. My Hispanic ass didn't know what the hell you guys were doing to me.
Mom throws a sheet over his head. He thinks he's getting like kidnapped.
Quick, get him!
Yeah.
Just drag him off. I start snickering some. That was a ritual or something to steal my soul, I don't know. That was right around the time I was learning about the devil and shit. It was just some bad juju to me. All of it.
This kid crying as like a mom throws a sheet over him and starts like poking scissors through it while the kid's underneath it. And the kid's like, oh no! Where's my mother?
Like being attacked by the gremlins. He makes a little motion of crossing himself. Leo's a complete atheist nowadays, but he still has that whole cultural Catholicism ingrained in him. Oh my god. I had to find some pictures of us from back then sometime. I had the biggest buck teeth, so I wanted to be a rabbit. That sounds like an appropriation problem for your Halloween. Speaking of low punny.
And also, are you able to dress up like another animal for Halloween?
That's what I'm
seems
saying.
Racist.
Like, I don't think you can. I think you're about to get discoursed. I was too young to understand the speciesist implications of that idea.
I see.
Uh-huh.
It's like when I had a cousin who, when we were little, really wanted to dress up like Flavor Flav for Halloween. Because of, that was like back when like the Flavor of Love was very like popular on VH1. And his mom had to be like, we'll get you a big clock and we'll get you the hat with the horns on it, but that's as much as we can do.
Yes. That's as far as this costume goes. You can be Big Clock Boy.
You big clock boy.
Legally distinct large clock character. Leo chuckles heartily, kicking an errant piece of wood out of the way. What did you end up being? I forget. I think I was a knight? Or a wizard. That might have been 2001. Ah, man, 2001. Everyone around was a soldier or commando that year because of the whole terrorist stuff.
Speaking of Chase and 9/11.
Yes. I feel like I conjured this into being last episode. Didn't really realize what I was doing.
Yeah, I
literally just summoned the 9/11 canonically happened in Echo conversation. Oh god, 2001 Halloween, that would have been, less than 2
September,
months. Yeah.
And then October. Yeah, so it'd be like literally like, it'd be like just about 2 months away.
Yeah, the peak of people freaking out about it. And I dressed as a pizza! Leo laughs, wagging his finger at me and nodding. A pizza. That was the best costume. I could barely move. You kept falling over. I didn't fall over, Chula. I kept getting pushed over by... Well, we know how that sentence ends. Leo's cheery demeanor sombers some, and he exhales. I remember who kept pushing him over well.
I'm assuming it's Flynn.
No, it's Sydney.
Oh, Sydney. Oh, shit. Okay. I was like... well,
yes, our dearly departed Flynn. He doesn't want to be here today, so...
Well, I thought he felt sad because he was like, oh, that guy that I'm pretty sure you fucked. Ooh, I don't want to talk about that.
We're quiet for a time, Leo's wiping some dust off the bottoms of his feet.
So Sydney was an asshole. Like, everything we hear about Sydney just adds to this.
Yeah. I mean... He's even younger at that point. What, 2001 for these people are like, what, they're like 6, 7? Like, you get to pass eventually.
It's funny for me because like as like an older, my siblings are so much younger that like as an older person I would like look at the kids that show up to like some of these parties, or like for like my little cousins or something, and there's just that one kid where you're just like, you are a little punk ass, and someone like it's like, oh, somebody needs to like step up to this kid because this kid's gonna get out of hand. This kid's like pushing people over, pushing toddlers over. You get like those 6-year-olds that like pick on like babies.
Yeah,
and it's just like, you're a sociopath, kiddo.
Yeah, the kids that step on birds and stuff. Like,
gosh,
there's like fucked up children.
It's like you want to like smack them, but it's like you're an adult,
and
also they're not your child. But like, and then the mom's just like do, and I'm like, dude, fix this.
You can see the pattern off. Like, yeah, you often see the mom that's like weirdly just like. It's not even it's not even a part of the whole discourse about people when people talk about like whether or not you should spank kids or not. It's like, or like the positive versus negative reinforcement. Like what often happens when you have these kids that don't just lose their shit all the time. It's when you see the parents, they're like completely passive. Like they're not acknowledging it at all. Like they're just trying to, like they're just gonna get through it.
Oh, he's just playing. Like he's a little bit rambunctious.
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay,
that's what causes the insane outcome. Like it's not like we had someone growing up. There was this kid that would just throw little tantrums. And he was just a little entitled shit. He was completely insufferable all the time. And sometimes he would just start hitting his mom for fun. Like in the middle of her talking to my mom or something, he would just start hitting her. Like just this little 12-year-old shit, just like wailing on her and just like going for attention, all that. And like he was just always the worst. And she would just like not acknowledge it was happening, essentially. And you're like, this is, well, I see how the cause and effect worked here. This is not great. At some point, he dove headfirst into a pool and just snapped a whole tooth off, and everyone just kind of like was like, "Yeah,
yeah." Those are the kind of kids where like when something like that happens, everyone's like, "Good." Like no one's allowed to say that, but they're all like,
"It's just an element of like, no one's freaking out here." It's like, all right, yeah. Rip and Pepperino, bye bye. I'd offer you a seat if this place still had furniture. He waves dismissively at the offer before beginning to wring his paws together. It was always really obvious when Leo was tense or nervous growing up. His shoulders would be raised up high, and his tail had a slight curl to it. Right now, he looks just like that. Leo? Leo opens his mouth as if to say something, but doesn't. Instead, he just turns, looking back toward that corner. Leo, is everything alright? What's happened to you, Chase? The question takes me off guard. I was expecting the worst, but the general nature of it has me confused. What? He turns, looking over his shoulder. Why are you doing this? Did I do something? Serious like, Otter, like, tell me now, please. I don't understand. You haven't done anything wrong. Besides bust into Flynn's place and assault him, of course. I'll keep that to myself for now. I don't know, maybe if you called Leo out on his behavior a bit more, you'd have a better understanding of each other here. Because, like, Leo needs to be called out in most of these routes. Chase does too, and it's the problem, but it's not helpful that Chase never does.
Well, Leo does need to be called out.
Although in this case, he's not supposed to know that Chase was there.
Yeah, this is the wrong time, because we still don't know what he's referring to, because as far as he knows, that wasn't a proven thing that happened, and so him acting like, why are you doing this to me, as in, like, sleeping with Flynn, he's not supposed to be sure of that, so it can't be that. So it would not be the time to bring that up. But I do agree, he does need to be, like, held accountable more often. But I'm curious about what he's talking about. This is stressful for me.
Yeah. I know what you're doing. And you know I know what you're doing.
Gosh, Gaslight Central.
I'm not dumb, you know. I know I'm not. Everything we've had problems with in the past was because of miscommunication shit. Nothing I say is as smart as Jenna and TJ, or funny as Carl and Flynn. I gotta translate everything in my head, so it's just slower. Talking to me is hard, yeah, I get that. Just fucking try for me, please. Honest-like, too. He looks at me, his chest rising and falling with some quickened pace. I slowly step to the side, resting my back against the wall and sliding down to a sitting position. I sit cross-legged and stare at the gap between my legs. You're not hard to talk with. I am. Chase, just say it. Without thinking, I do. I had sex with Flynn. And so have you. I hear Leo take a step forward, then stop. He told you. Yeah, to get me mad. We're not on the best terms right now, Leo. It was after you left for college, I swear on my neck. A silence falls between us. It feels like Leo is practically leering over me, but I can't muster the courage to look up. Have you... well... have you had others?
It's really not your business, Chase.
No.
It's for both of you guys. You guys gotta figure out what this is before you start talking about things like this. Because it shouldn't upset you.
Yeah.
You guys aren't together. You weren't together.
He's just like struggling with this exclusivity. When it's like, one, you broke up. And also like, yeah, it's just normal for people to have had other experiences. You walked in on one of his other experiences. You just don't remember. Like, that's how this all started.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, but nothing ever felt the same as, you know. Hot dog.
That was the most romantic moment of my entire life. I think about it every day.
Hot dog eating contest?
You're a natural born Joey Chestnut.
I'm not like Flynn. I can't go to that place outside of town and just let loose. You know, I tried that, and it felt so wrong and fucked up. It's not the same. What's the point of doing that shit if it's not with your love, you know? And I'm not talking about that whole cultural, religious mierda that whatever you gotta marry and all that. Because I know how Flynn ticks, and I know how I tick. It's completely different, yeah? I hear the floorboards creak beneath his feet, the wolf shifting his weight from foot to foot. I just thought you were like me in that sort of way. For Flynn, this is nothing. This is another notch on the wall. I cross my arms over my chest tightly, feeling cold sweat on my neck. You show up for the first time in years, and it's like you don't want nothing to do with me. I get it, you know? I'm good at sports stuff and car stuff, and none of you gave a shit about any of that, and that was fine. Just roll your eyes at Leo. I just liked having my friends around. All of them, but especially you. Another pause. You are like family. Hell, you can't just flick a switch and stop being family. Growing up with that shit we dealt with. Leo, you've got your real family.
Shut up, Chase.
And you know what they always ask about? You. Well, you've got Flynn and Carl still. Flynn's... You know how Flynn is. And Carl? He's not doing too hot. I don't know how long he'll last. Long he'll last? What the hell are you talking about? I don't know, Otter. Just look at him sometime. Really look at him and his whole... Leo trails off into a long sigh. You all left and it was never the same. So I pretend. I remember all the stuff you used to say, even the naggy bits. I imagine you're there with me at work, talking to me while I'm fixing cars. I pretend I'm teaching you about the basics, like changing oil or replacing headlights. I know it's not riveting stuff, but it's all good because you love me, and I love you too. Then I'd drive home, listening to whatever is on the radio, and I imagine you reacting to it. Groaning every time the word truck is mentioned in a country song, or making some snide-ass remark at the political lads. All the boys round here.
I got a heart like a truck. It gets drug through the mud.
When I got home. When I get home, I go online and like, there's this pulling in my chest, like a dread, you know? I click on the social media shit and it's you. The real you. And you're different. You're wearing new shirts, hanging with new friends, drinking fancy college beers, and it feels like I'm losing you all over again. So I just avoid it. I pretend. I pretend that we're drinking together on the patio as the sun goes down. I pretend that you're watching me play my games. And I pretend at night that pillow I've got my arms wrapped around is you. Making your little irk noises you do when I ruffle your head fur or squeeze you. Leo chuckles bittersweetly. The gravity of his words seem to take hold now that he's actually said them out loud. Jesus, Leo. A week ago you showed up outside my window. The sky was red. You said, hey. Leo, what are you talking about? Why were you there, Chase? His tone is strange, almost without inflection. Leo, I don't know what you mean. I wasn't here last week. Next thing I know, he's stepping closer to me. He stops, then lowers himself to a sitting position against the wall. The wolf's arms stretch around my torso and pull me against his side.
Aww.
This is difficult because they have a relationship to navigate that's more complicated than some of the stuff, but also Chase needs to fucking end this. Like, this poor Leo is such a train wreck where he has spent the last years fantasizing about the relationship that already ended, even if it didn't end cleanly enough. It's over. They moved on, but he's managed to like echo hum himself, where he's now manifesting this fake Chase in actuality because he's fixated on this for so long without going on and meeting new people or doing anything else. It's just a deeply tragic, depressing character.
No, it's difficult because in reality, what I think a person, like what I would do is, like, a person in this situation is so blatantly vulnerable and is going through a thing. Like, I would hug them, but I would have a serious talk with them. The issue with this is, like, you don't know, this choice represents bless you.
Everything's fine. I'm okay.
It represents like coddling him or basically like breaking it off and being serious with him, which is in the long run what you need to do. But in this moment, I would hug him.
Yeah. Because
he's having a very tragic moment, and to not hug a person in this moment might be very detrimental for them in the long term, like of their mental health and well-being. Like, you should hug him and then talk to him seriously.
It's like how when somebody asks you out, you might hug them when you say no.
Sure,
someone you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say like a very good friend.
When you know someone for a while and they ask you out, and you have to like get through this moment now, which I've been through this before, where somebody, you know someone for years, and then they ask you out in a situation you're just kind of trapped in, and then you're like, now we get to navigate the emotional fallout of this moment, because no.
Like, you can't be like, be like, ew, gross, and like smack them away. And you can't be like,
it's not like a reflex. Nah, I don't like cinnamon, and then you just move on. Like, it's not over.
Unless you're. Yeah, no. If you know someone, I've been really brutal with people I haven't known very well.
Yeah, well, that's easy.
But it's because I deserved it, and I was like, no, I don't even like you.
Yeah.
Like, why did you think this date went well? I want you to explain it to me, because I'm very confused.
That's your archetypical story, is that specific guy who was like, like, next date? And you're like, and I was like, you're miserable.
I just looked at him. I was like, did this date go well for you? Because I had a horrible time. It's like, well, like, why? And I'm like, do you want me to explain to you exactly why? All the reasons why this date went badly? Because I will, and it might be good for you. And he was like, yes. And I was like, okay. I just laid it out for like 20 minutes.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he asked for it. I was like, you asked for that. I'm never gonna see you again. Goodbye. But
you got the feedback that you needed after that 1,000 other Tinder dates would never give you.
I've done my due diligence and being very upfront and honest with every person.
Yeah.
Just be like, I don't like you because of this. It'll be good for you in the long run. Get good.
It also, in this scene, it would also be just strange to dance with Leo and then not hug him. Because the same timeline.
Yeah, I mean, that would be weird. I mean, I don't know. Dancing could be very friendly. I don't know. But the thing is, like, Chase is a jerk.
They danced while joking about his dick.
Chase knows that Leo cares about him in this way, so he should not have danced with him. But that was our fault because we chose that.
But we're also in the messy context of being like, we've been avoiding him this entire trip, and it's like actively becoming a problem. Like, you can't just like, I'm gonna awkwardly just look directly at Leo, take a left turn, and go dance with Daxton now.
Who doesn't even want to dance.
Or worse, TJ and Jenna really get under his skin.
Oh man.
Hug him.
Hug him.
I've hugged Leo more times in my life than I could ever count. I don't think he's ever needed one as much as he does now. I embrace him, letting his head rest against my shoulder. He puts more weight on me, and I have to prop myself up to keep from falling over. He's so heavy now. We get it, Chase. Damn.
I know you won't lay up about his weight. Leave him alone.
With how rough this week has begun to turn, I kind of need this little too. I hear him clearing his throat. Things aren't great here, Shula. I was trying to act like they were, but you know now. I just know that if you were here, I could protect you, and things would be better. How does Leo's brain work?
Leo, why don't you just leave?
How does Leo's brain work?
Why don't you just leave?
Things are bad here, but they'd be better if you were here and I protected you from the bad.
From those bad things.
Whatever that means.
I'm gonna bring you into the bad and then spend all my time protecting you from the bad.
Remember in the other route where quote-unquote protecting Chase means getting in a fight with Clint and then Chase gets hit with a crowbar to the head? I protected you by, like, dry humping you on the sink. It's like...
I protected you by taking care of you when your legs got ripped off by a train.
This sentence is just so much to unpack. Because, like, even before everything else is established, just right out the gate, picking the Leo route immediately causes harm to Chase and puts him in danger faster than any other route, basically. And it's just like, that's just built into the Leo route, and it doesn't really get better. It's like, Leo, we know for a fact, when push comes to shove, Leo actually can't protect Chase. Like, maybe he's almost less capable than most any other character at protecting Chase.
Leo is a part of the problem. Like, Leo is always a part of, like, the things that harm Chase.
Yeah.
And he's too tied up in those things that he can't really protect Chase from anything, because all of it's tied in with his own things. Yeah, like
Leo's route is the most consistently and frequently dangerous for Chase, and the other routes where Leo shows up, he causes several of the dangerous scenarios. He causes the fight with Brian that happens in the trailer park.
Yeah,
because he's like, information to reach Leo, and he's just gonna blow this whole scenario up, sort of thing. I'm just like, that's just. We both know that's not correct, but also if we didn't know any of that stuff, on its face, that's a nonsensical sentence. Well, it doesn't it doesn't make any sense.
Well, what he means is, like, Leo needs a purpose. Like, things would be better for Leo if he had Chase around, because he could feel cool and he could protect him. It's not better for Chase. Things wouldn't be better. Leo would feel better about being here if he had a purpose here, and, like, Chase would be his purpose.
It's just so openly delusional. Like, on its face.
And honestly selfish.
Yes.
Just fucking leave, Leo. Just fucking go. Yeah. If you want to
Especially if he's
leave.
gonna insist that Chase and everyone are more family than his own family and so on. Like, okay, then what's keeping you here? Like, if it's so bad in Echo, you can just leave.
Half of the reason why they are not currently together is because Chase wants to leave Echo and Leo doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of their
Leo wants
problems
to keep
derive
the
from
otter
that.
in the desert.
Yeah.
In the homophobic desert.
Yes.
Remember when people threw slurs at us 5 minutes into the game? We're just like,
Yes.
hey, we're in the motel now. Faggots. Like, cool. Glad to be home. Leo, that might not be true. And I don't need protecting. I only need protecting from scary brownies. Leo says nothing. The minutes pass. I can hear TJ talking excitedly about something out of the backyard, with Jenna chiming in occasionally.
I saw that Carl wasn't interacting with them.
Yeah, Carl's not doing great, I guess.
Carl was just having a moment. He just got to be by himself. And
Maybe.
sit, even though he's supposedly with friends he's known for years.
I think we're just being reminded all the time that this friend group was never as good as it was ever said to have been.
Yeah.
Like, Carl's friends with Flynn and Chase. And Flynn's not here, and Chase left. And so, and like Jenna had that blow up at Carl before the hum made things go crazy in the first route. And then it's like, oh, okay. I'm not sure you guys were ever good friends if this conversation's happening already.
Yeah, I doubt the validity of their I think we are hit the nail on the head by assuming that this is friendship by proximity.
Yeah. That's a lot of friendships too. Especially high school friendships and college friendships are just like a matter of convenience. Like, they're just,
yeah, and
it's
like
a matter of proximity.
you're friends with people that you live with because you live next to each other, and you're like, oh, I don't even like them, but like I guess we can hang out.
I can't wait to drop this lady.
Yeah, Kiki, I'm talking about you, my dog.
We talked about this on a podcast that's recent at the time of recording, but by the time this comes out will not be recent, but it was the queer kids versus high school episode of the podcast, just discussing the idea that, like, in high school you have this whole friendship circle that feels like your world, just because, like, high school in general feels like your world. And not only does high school become comically irrelevant the moment you leave it, which is something that's reinforced by people who get jobs during high school and experience the adult world in contrast to high school while they're at high school and realize how kind of stupid and playground the whole thing is. But, like, the moment you graduate high school and kind of scatter the winds, almost everybody experiences not seeing almost all those people ever again.
That is
within a year,
really
that
weird.
that list just dries up.
Yeah, no, really fast. It's like, oh, you're crying. Like, oh, we'll keep in touch. You were like hags in their yearbook. Have a great summer. I don't know if people still use that.
Hags.
Hags? Do people still use that?
I don't.
Am I an old person for knowing hags?
I'm older than you, and I've never seen it before.
Oh, that was like everyone wrote. It was like what you wrote if you didn't know the person very well.
No.
I never wrote hags because I made it a point to write something about everybody because I felt like that was my due diligence to like try to make a comment on every person like in a nice way. But like, no, like everyone's like, like, you have my number, like we'll text like every once in a while, like let's do stuff, and like you just don't do that.
If I open up my yearbook right now and page through, I'd be confused by who some of these people are at this point, because it's been like 15 years as of this year. I wasn't even invited to my 10-year reunion.
I think I probably was, but I don't know how. Like, how does that happen? I probably got like a Facebook invite.
Someone just organizes it.
And I'm not on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a ghost on there.
My classmate that you know was there, but he didn't tell me. He just didn't tell me. He didn't pass the invite along, so I wasn't there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What a dick.
Yeah. The usual.
The usual.
Yeah.
I'm lucky enough to have a very like a select few high school friends I will go see maybe a few times a year, and it like I said, you really know right away like which ones stick and which ones don't, because like it's like I see them and it's like, wow, like nothing has changed. We are just as happy talking to each other as we were before.
But like, this is why it's such a struggle. I mean, like, why it's
But that's like 3
why
out of like
Leo's
300
behavior
friends.
is so unhealthy and unusual here. So like, yeah, like you finish high school, what TJ and Jenna and Chase did is super normal. You do just go on with your life, and the basic logistics of that works out. Like, it kind of results in you just moving on from all the people around you, because like, it's not just the fact that you moved, but you're moving while also being in a period of your life where you're also like radically changing year to year and becoming an adult and like so on. And like, so like, yeah, like everyone I know pretty much just stopped seeing everyone that they knew in high school within a year of graduating high school. And oftentimes same thing happens in college. But then like, once you're out of high school and or college or whatever you end up doing, you like properly like engage with the adult world. Now the people that are in your life are the people you chose, and you did so as an adult, and like those become like in many cases the much long-term friends. And at that point in your life, if you do encounter anyone from high school, it's like a curiosity. Like, it's like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
oh,
where
what are you
have
up
you
to?
been?
Oh,
Yeah.
your hair looks different.
Oh yeah, you aged.
You have a completely different body type since I saw you last decade. Like,
Yeah, you have a dad bod now instead of the football bod that I liked so long ago. Chase.
Yep.
But yeah, no. And it's funny, it is funny also like being an adult where it's like, okay, like I go to work and then like I have like friends at work and I have coworkers and things. And then you have like friends that like you have like people like, oh, like let's hang out outside of work. And you can just sit there and be like, I don't feel like hanging out with you outside of work. I feel like your priorities as an adult aren't like to be super popular like they might have been in high school, where you're like, oh, like if I don't have friends, like I'm missing out. In reality, sometimes you're just like, I don't have time for you, and also I don't value you enough to prioritize you in my list of people that I know, because I really only have time for like X amount of people, and like you would be like second tier, and I'm not gonna have enough time to hang out with you.
Yeah.
So you just get to be like, nah. And it's weird because it's like you don't. In high school, it's like, oh my gosh, you didn't get invited to so-and-so's party? Like, oh, whoa, what a loser. And now
as an adult, you'll just pretend you were busy and not go to parties,
Yeah,
and not do anything instead.
You'll be like, oh,
Sometimes you'll just be like, no,
you'll be
don't want
flattered
to.
by the invite, but you'll be
Yeah.
like, no, I have my you know, like 4 friends, and like I don't need another one, and I just want to go home and sleep and watch TV because I'm fucking tired. Like, that's what being an adult is.
And I know that on this level, obviously this is complicated by them being in a relationship with each other in addition to other stuff, but like I knew people in high school that I had hung out with for like 8 years at that point, and those relationships still just dried up the moment high school is over. Like, it's just that normal in many cases. Like, you just kind of don't quite keep up with people, you change as people, and then you just meet new people and evolve and go on, and maybe you reconnect with some of these people. But like, obsessively pining after someone you haven't seen for years is just a horrible way of coping. Like, this is incredibly unhealthy, the way Leo's been behaving. And it's just, on some level, I'm sure it's like you're in this tiny town and you have very few people around and you're in this rut of the same like loop all the time, but like, that's up to you. Like, you need to, at some point, change how your life works, or it'll just keep going one TV dinner at a time. And that's just, that's how you're marking your schedule, essentially. You gotta get out of there.
That's depressing.
Yeah. Don't
one TV dinner at a time.
become the Andrew that we know today who throws boat parties and is in a relationship, and not the Andrew I knew in college who I'd visit his apartment and be a stack of Little Caesars. Just a whole stack of Little Caesars boxes. Don't be that. Don't stay. You can be that for a bit. Don't stay that.
Well, you can be that.
You gotta Leo at some point.
On the boat with the stack of Little Caesars and the girlfriend.
You just brought all of the stack.
Bring the Little Caesars on the boat with the girlfriend.
Hopefully,
that sounds great.
New Little Caesars, not just your stack you've been keeping of boxes.
No,
your stale grease boxes.
A stack of Little Caesars boxes changes context when it's on the boat with the girlfriend, as opposed to in the dark room alone.
That's character growth.
It is character growth.
The insane thing about Andrew was the fact that he had the stack of Little Caesars boxes because he lived across the street from Little Caesars. But he's lactose intolerant.
That's dangerous.
It's a lot of cheese consumption for someone who can't eat cheese. Like, I don't know if the convenience is worth it at that point.
Yeah, the convenience is actually very inconvenient.
That's upsetting TV dinner choices.
Good for Andrew. Andrew's a sweetheart.
Finally, Leo pulls back. He looks at me, as if about to ask a question, but seemingly decides he doesn't want to know the answer. So, this is pretty something, yeah? I rub my paw against my forehead. Not as pretty something as your fake me pillow you sleep with at night. Chase.
You're ruining the moment.
You need to call him out, but I don't know if, like, mocking him for his vulnerable confession about his Chase body pillow is the right moment.
Yeah, no, he did that completely wrong.
I expect Leo to laugh at that because I'm very stupid, but he just peers at me with that sort of melancholy smile. Yeah. He pushes himself to his feet, dusting off the back of his pants. Let me know if you need help with that project or anything. I'll be around. Okay, but hey. His tail perks up some, the wolf turning to look down at me. You should see somebody. I mean, about what you just told me. It never worked for you, Otter. I sigh. Yeah, but it could for you? Leo shrugs. Maybe. I'll see you later. I mean, you're not possessed by a albino mountain lion. Was it mountain lion? Sounds a mountain lion. Right, yeah. You're just very lonely and too close to evil quartz crystals. You do have supernatural interference, but not a literal consciousness crowding your brain. He gives me his best reassuring smile before heading outward, running his paws along the walls as he leaves. After a while, I stand as well.
And that was pretty bad end of conversation.
Yeah, that was not handled well.
I wonder, like, what... Not hugging him, I wonder what that would have even done. Because we left in a pretty cold place.
Does Chase just pick another fight? Like he does
Is Chase
with
just a dick, like, in either option? Like, even, I'll hug you, but I'm gonna say something snide afterwards.
Yeah. It's interesting because I feel like there was clear telegraphing to some extent in all the other routes of, like, this is the route choice and here's the impact it's probably going to have, and
yeah.
I had a clear idea of what it meant. I don't have the most clear idea of what the decisions add up to in this one and where we're pointing right now.
Yeah, this is throwing me off a little bit.
Yeah. Because Carl was all about him taking control and being in the moment, or, like, surrendering himself.
Yeah, that one was pretty easy to guess.
Leo's route was about realizing you need to definitively and certainly cut things off with Leo.
Yeah.
And TJ's route didn't have choices. There's no good ending to TJ's route.
No, there's not. There is not.
And Jenna's route was about reconnecting her humanity on some level, and, like, not having her just write off the entire town as just being this irredeemable evil that needs to just be forgotten or destroyed.
Like learning to accept your past. Which then
she literally does.
Yeah. But in this one, it's like, it's like I said, like I thought the hug response would have led somewhere different. And granted, I thought it was still going to be like,
unfortunately, he's incurably
answer.
Chase.
Yeah, but Chase is interfering with our responses now.
Yeah. Well, he's not...
Like, our decisions don't seem to have as much impact because Chase keeps stepping in front of our decisions.
Chase isn't emotionally intelligent enough to get where we're going with these choices.
So we're basically like a nice ghost inside of his head trying to help him fix his fucking life, and he keeps blundering the good advice we're giving him. It's like Cicero de Bergerac. It's like, I'm gonna give you like a note on like what to say to this pretty girl, but like instead, like Chase just flubs up everything that we wrote down and I can't read it, and he like spits it out, and he makes it all sound really bad, you know?
Cicero?
Cicero de Bergerac?
Cyrano?
Oh, Cyrano de Bergerac. You're right.
I was like,
sorry,
I was like, hanging on it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are we? Is this like a? I'm like, was this
Cicero
like a?
Something else? I don't know what.
Like, there's like some kind of weird animation at some point. There's like Dvorak or something, but I can't think of what that is either.
You know, Cyrano's the guy with the big nose.
Yeah.
In the play, who is in love with the girl, but he doesn't think he has a chance with the girl, so he actually helps a guy. He writes all the letters that he would write to her.
Meanwhile, for all he knows, she's like, "Show me what that nose do."
Well, that's how it ends. That's how it ends. Show me what that nose do.
I noticed something odd sitting at the top of the water heater. Curious, I pick it up.
Oh.
Look at this old photo. No, everyone just left it?
Not even your parents didn't want to take a photo of you? Like, they're just like, no, we don't need that.
Did no one take it? Or did Leo leave it? I assume no one took it. Look at this nerd.
Look at your hands. Look at Jesus' hands.
Yeah, his pop had hands. Oopery little thumbs.
Who took that picture of him with his eyes closed?
Look how comforted he looks.
He looks sad. I mean, not like sad. It looks like he's gonna have. He has a deep sigh in him, like that.
Oh. I never knew Mom framed this, and then left it behind, apparently.
She knew you were gonna have this weird moment.
This is from high school, I think, senior year. She always wanted a picture of just the two of us. I always thought it was kind of weird how okay my parents were with us being together. I remember after they found out I was gay, I thought that things would be ruined and I wouldn't be, I don't know, normal. Then they sent me a voicemail saying that they loved me and it didn't really matter. Your happiness is priority number 1. I wonder if they forgot this during the move. So, I guess it's kind of a weird picture. I wouldn't be surprised if they left it on purpose. I mean, throw it out. Like, leaving it is really weird.
Dude, I want to leave a weird picture of me somewhere.
It's like how you inherited strange objects from the previous owner of this house.
Yeah. Yes, exactly like that. I'm gonna leave a framed photo of me and Kiki in the wall.
In the wall?
Sure.
Oh.
I don't know. No. Oh.
I inhabit this house.
I'm gonna put it in the vent because my vent
the snake vent
pops out. Yeah. Yeah. The vent my snake escaped. Not that one. The one in my room.
Oh.
Does your cover just pop off?
Maybe. I haven't tried.
Let's hide things in there.
Just put a little figure in there that looks up.
Oh gosh, that'd be spooky.
I haven't talked to them much lately. I should go. You should go.
You should go.